Welcome to my YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe my channel, hit the like button and click the bell icon, so don't miss our new videos and share your thought about stories. Now let's start. Growing up, my earliest memories of my dad are fragmented and fleeting, like snapshots from a time that feels more like a dream than reality. I remember him pushing me on the swings at the park, his laughter echoing as I soared higher, feeling like I was on top of the world. But those moments were rare and short-lived. Soon after, he vanished from my life. I was just a child, and one day he was there, the next he was gone. There was no explanation, no note, no goodbye, just an empty seat at the dinner table and a silence that settled over our home. My mom was left to pick up the pieces, working tirelessly at 2 jobs to provide for us. She did her best to shield me from the pain of his absence, but as I grew older, the questions I had about him only multiplied. Why did he leave? Did he ever think about us? Was it something I did? I spent my childhood trying to fill the void he left behind. I would hear other kids at school talk about their dads, fishing trips, baseball games, father-son weekends, and it would sting. I had nothing to contribute to those conversations. Every Father's Day, I felt a pang of sadness and a hint of jealousy. My mom became my rock, playing both roles, sacrificing her own needs to make sure I had everything I needed. She was there for every school play, every sports game, and every time I needed help with homework. Despite her best efforts, though, I couldn't shake the feeling of abandonment. It haunted me through my teenage years, shaping my outlook on life and relationships. I channeled my frustration and anger into something productive. I made a promise to myself that I would work hard, succeed, and prove that I didn't need him or anyone else to make it in this world. By the time I turned 18, I had already started laying the groundwork for my own business. It was tough, long nights filled with self-doubt, countless setbacks, and moments where I wanted to quit. But I kept pushing forward. Slowly, my small company began to grow, and I started seeing the fruits of my labor. It was gratifying, not just because of the financial stability it brought, but because it felt like a victory, a way of saying to the universe, "I did this without you, Dad." I had built a life for myself and my mom, who had given up so much to ensure I had a fighting chance. Then, one day, out of the blue, I received a text message from an unknown number. "Hey, it's Dad. Can we talk?" I was stunned. I stared at the screen, unable to process what I was seeing. After 2 decades of silence, why now? What could he possibly want after all this time? I felt a rush of emotions, anger, confusion, even a sliver of hope. I replied with a simple, cold, "What do you want?" His response came almost immediately. "I've been thinking about you a lot. I'm sorry for everything. Can we meet?" Against my better judgment, I agreed. Maybe it was the closure I had been unknowingly searching for, or maybe it was curiosity, a desire to understand why he had abandoned us. We met at a small cafe, a neutral place that felt impersonal enough for such an emotional encounter. When I saw him, I almost didn't recognize him. He looked older, worn out, a shadow of the man I remembered. He tried to smile, but it was strained, like he knew this wasn't going to be an easy conversation. "Hey, kiddo," he said softly, trying to bridge the years of silence with a familiar nickname. I felt a surge of anger bubbling up inside me. "It's been 20 years, I snapped. "What do you want?" He hesitated, looking down at his hands, his face contorted with a mix of guilt and desperation. "I've made a lot of mistakes," he began. "I know I wasn't there for you, but I want to make things right. Can we start over?" For a moment, I almost believed him. There was a vulnerability in his voice that I hadn't expected, but then he dropped the bombshell. "I need your help," he admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. "I'm in a bit of a financial bind. I wouldn't ask if it wasn't serious." The words hit me like a punch to the gut. So that was it. He wasn't here to make amends, to rebuild our relationship, or to apologize for the years of pain he had caused. He was here because he needed money. All those nights I spent wondering if he ever thought about me, all the times I dreamed of him coming back, it wasn't because he missed me. It was because he saw me as a last resort, a solution to his problems. I felt a wave of anger and betrayal wash over me. "Are you serious?" I asked, my voice shaking. "You walk out on us, leave us to fend for ourselves, and now you want me to bail you out? After everything Mom and I went through, you think you can just show up and ask for help?" He looked at me, tears welling up in his eyes. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "I know I don't deserve it, but I'm desperate. I thought maybe we could fix things. Together." I stared at him, searching his face for any sign of genuine remorse. But all I saw was desperation, the look of a man who had run out of options. "You thought wrong," I said coldly. "If you ever want to reconnect, it won't be for my money. It will be for me." I got up and walked out of the cafe, leaving him sitting there, a broken man who had once been my father. As I stepped outside, the cool air hit my face, and I took a deep breath. For the first time in years, I felt a sense of closure. It wasn't the closure I had imagined. There was no heartfelt apology, no tearful reunion, but it was a realization that I didn't need his validation or his presence in my life anymore. I had grown up without him, and I had built a life for myself that I was proud of. I still wonder sometimes if he ever truly wanted to reconnect with me, or if it was just about the money. But one thing I know for sure, I'm better off without him. The people who truly matter in my life are the ones who have been there for me from the start, not the ones who show up only when they need something. And as painful as it was, that encounter gave me the clarity I needed to finally let go of the past and move on with my life.